Just about 12:15 on your finally Friday afternoon. It is going to be a beautiful finish to your work week. Plenty of sunshine. That cold front came in late last night, early this morning. It's bringing us some really delightful weather. Plenty of sun, a few scattered clouds, a really great shot here looking over the city of New Orleans. Hopefully you enjoy this weekend, the final weekend of September. We have some really delightful weather going into the next several days. Temperatures are mild this afternoon. We are in the lower 80s across southeast Louisiana and South Mississippi. It's 83 in La Plaza and in Mandeville, 84 in Kenner, 82 degrees in Homa, and 84 degrees in Bay St. Louis. Since we had that cold front move in, we have northerly winds 5 to 10 or so miles per hour, so we'll have a nice northerly breeze, bringing us some drier air. Our dew points have dropped a bit into the 60s. Some of us still in the low 70s, but that is a good sign. Drier air, lower dew points means it's going to be less humid, and it feels a lot more refreshing outside today. And we'll keep low humidity through today and through really the next several days as that front continues to push off to the east. Plenty of dry air filling in across the deep south, and that will lead to some really quiet weather over the next week. No stress when it comes to our weather. No rain, lots of sun, and a more comfortable feel. So we have the drop in humidity today, and we'll keep low humidity around this weekend and through really all of next week. It does stay pleasant and dry, nice and sunny with no worries when it comes to the weather. Here's your weekend forecast. Beautiful. Plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s in the afternoon this weekend, and it will feel less muggy as well. And our nights and mornings really feel refreshing with the dry air around. It feels more pleasant in the evenings and in the mornings. So tomorrow morning we'll start the day with temperatures in the 60s and low 70s right on the South Shore in the metro area. So that is a delightful start to tomorrow morning. Sunday morning, much of the same. We start the day in the 60s and lower 70s. So picture perfect weather going into this weekend and even through most of next week. Now out in the tropics, we are watching two spots in the western Atlantic Ocean. I'll get this out of the way first. There are no tropical concerns for the Gulf Coast over the next week. So this is strictly for the Atlantic side. So we're watching Hurricane Humberto, which just developed into a hurricane recently at a Cat 1, likely going to become our next major hurricane in the next few days. And there's one other spot off to the west in the Caribbean, Invest 94, that will likely become our next named storm, Imelda, in the coming days as well. So a lot to watch out in the western Atlantic. We'll start with Hurricane Humberto, sustained winds at 90 miles per hour. You can see on satellite getting that classic look of a hurricane eye has formed as of this morning. And going into later today, it's likely going to rapidly intensify to a Cat 3 by later today or early tomorrow, eventually up to Cat 4 status later this weekend. And then it will take that curve off to the northeast. So it will pass nearby Bermuda. So of course, Bermuda should watch, but it's not going to be posing any risks to the continental United States. It's going to avoid the U.S. Could be some higher surf and rip currents next week along the East Coast, but avoiding the U.S. However, Invest 94 will have to watch more closely. As it moves northward, it will bring some rain, gusty winds to parts of the islands through today and this weekend. Parts of the Bahamas will see some rain and gusty winds. But then going into next week, it's going to make this turn to the north. I put the spaghetti models on here, and it looks like Invest 94, which could be Imelda, it looks like it'll be moving into the southeastern U.S. and it may sit there for a couple days. There's still some uncertainty with the forecast, but I did want to show you the possibilities. So here's the European model going into this weekend, bring some rain and wind to the islands. This moves northward and then eventually goes somewhere into maybe the Carolinas early next week. This is on Tuesday. So they could see some significant rain with this system going into early next week across the Carolinas, even parts of Virginia, and maybe the interior sections of the southeast as well. It depends on how this kind of sits, if it moves inland, does it sit along the coast? So some question marks with that going into later next week. The GFS has a similar solution. Rain and wind for the islands in the coming days, and then eventually it looks like we'll be moving into the Carolinas somewhere early next week. But the GFS does want to take this more inland, and it may sit inland, bringing some serious flooding concerns for interior sections of the southeast. So still some uncertainty with the long-term forecast of this, but if you live along the southeastern coast from Georgia up through the Carolinas into Virginia, or you have any travel plans there, you want to watch that closely. As for us though, we have a really great stretch of weather. It's going to be warm and sunny. Temperatures will be in the 80s this afternoon and this weekend. We'll be back near 90 degrees next week, but our nights and mornings stay cooler.